Hi, today we'll talk about carbohydrate, another macronutrient other than protein and fat. Carbohydrates are split into two groups. One is monosaccharide and one is disaccharide. Mono means one, saccharide means sugar. So disaccharide means two sugar. Another carbohydrate is complex. Complex carbohydrate is polysaccharide. Polysaccharide means many. At any time, specifically in an hour time frame, we'll have about 20 grams of glucose circulating in our body. Our liver can store to 80 to 100 grams of glycogen, and our muscle can store up to 300 to 600 grams of glycogen, so we can use it for doing work. If there's too much of sugar in our system, our body naturally will just convert the excess to fat. However, that's not very common. The body will do its best, right, to oxidize the excess carbohydrate in the system. If you're having more carbohydrate in your diet, your body will be adapted to actually using more carbohydrate as fuel. The opposite is true. If you're having more fat in your diet, you will be more fat adapted. Become more efficient in burning fats. So when we talk about carbohydrate, we can't avoid talking about glycemic index. Glycemic index is a measure of how quickly a food digests in our system and then raise our blood sugar level. It is advised for us to consume food that has a lower GI index because we don't want to raise blood sugar that high. Example, if you have a 50 grams of sugar and you consume this 50 grams of pure sugar, the glycemic index for this will be 100. So we use that as a benchmark as its highest point. The lower, the better. But in some cases, right, where you need the energy quickly, maybe you want to use the high glycemic index food, right, to help you to achieve your goals. Another way to measure is glycemic load. Because glycemic index is not a good way of measuring because it doesn't take account for the volume of the food. Example, if you take this 50 grams of sugar compared to this 50 grams of carrots, okay, to achieve the same amount of sugar from the carrots, you have to eat maybe 3 to 4 times more. So the glycemic load will be a better way to show how food will influence our blood sugar level. Again, there are many ways to actually track this. You can talk about glycemic index, you can talk about glycemic load. There's even a better one, it's called insulin index 2, where you measure the insulin after a meal. And that can reflect, right, how much the food that you consume, right, can influence your blood sugar level. Irregardless, all this type of measurement, right, will not tell how a person eats or how healthy he's living because, right, they never take into consideration of the water intake, phytonutrient, fiber, and of course the activity that he's doing. If a person, right, is doing exercise, okay, he's living a very active lifestyle, how his body or how her body reacts to the food and utilize the energy, right, will be very different compared to a person which is sedentary. And how much muscle mass does a person have compared to a person that doesn't exercise? They utilize the nutrients very differently. So it depends on people to people. But this just gives us a rough guideline so they can help us choose better choices of food, right, that are shown here. Why we need carbohydrate? Simple. Because our brain and red blood cell, right, cannot produce carbohydrate. We need to get it from our diet. Okay? Our brain needs about 130 grams of glucose per day. And it's also used for energy transfer. You might ask, I have friends, right, who go low carb or zero carb and he's fine, she's fine. You are right, the body is very efficient and very adaptive. People can actually strive on the low to zero carb diet and still do well, but not for everyone. When our body, right, is low on carbohydrate, for example the brain and red blood cell, our body is very efficient in breaking down other macronutrients, example fat and protein. And this process is called gluconeogenesis. So you break down protein, you break down fat for energy for our brain and our red blood cell. This is why it explains, right, humans can strive on many types of diet. That's why there's no best diet out there. It varies, it depends on the person, it will depend on the place that they came from and the availability of the food that they have. Today we're going to look at the food that we have here. We look at it on the spectrum. Okay, the right side all the way to the left, you can see that these are food, right, are classified, in section, okay, which is the minimally processed food. Here we have oats, sweet potatoes, and apple. Food that I want to consume moderately, okay, will be this rice, and this example here, dry cranberries. And then the last one, you're gonna eat really sparingly, eat less of them, okay? Things like potato chips and packet fruit juice, okay? Because they are all industrial produced. Usually when you go through this kind of production, it reduces a lot of fiber and a lot of nutrients from the food itself. You're not gonna get a lot of nutrients out of it. So most nutrient dense, least nutrient dense. So this should be the main bulk of your carbohydrate content. Okay, so how do you weigh out your food and use the hand portion size? Pretty easy. Let's start with the apple first. This is the closest to my palm. So usually for portion size for carbohydrate, okay, you can actually cup your hand like this, okay? So as long as the carbohydrate fill up this portion like this, okay, in your cup hand like this, it's considered 1 serving. Typically for women, it will be 1 serving at 1 meal based on 3 meals. For men, it will be 2 cups per meal based on 3 meals. So in this case, right, I can feel 1 apple in the cup of my hand. This will be 1 serving. And then for the potato, it's probably not 1.5, probably just 1, because if I were to place this on my palm this way, this will give me about 1 serving. So for a woman, maybe this is her 1 serving 1 meal. For men, this will be my 1 serving, because 1 serving I can have 2 portions of carbohydrate per meal based on 3 meals. Sweet potato is pretty much the same thing. If you can fill this up in your palms, this will be it. Of course, the shape comes in various sizes, but you can judge. If I want to, I can just break it a little bit. No, this will be about 1 serving. There are some unique type of food, right, that you can't measure with your hand. I mean, you could pour this right and put it here and just measure with your hand. But how practical is that? So for certain food, like example, oats, rice, grains, okay, what I would recommend is that you use some form of serving scoop like this to measure out your oats. So this is a scoop I got from my whey protein tub. It comes with it. So after a few times of purchasing whey protein, right, I have a few of them. So I'll just put this scoop in the oats container and I'll use all the time to measure out my 30 grams. So next time I won't have to measure it out. I just have to actually use this to actually gauge 30 mg of oats, which give me the precise amount that I need. So for special case like this, you don't have to actually use your hand to measure. You can just use this cup. But just for curiosity's sake, I'll just try to put this. So this is about 1 cup size of oats. Oh, obviously it's overflowing, but you get the idea. Is our rice. This is very common. It's a staple in Asian countries. It's polished rice. So most of the nutrients have been taken out. I actually use a cup hand size to do it like this. Okay, this is obviously not a cup size. I'll show you in the cup size. This is about a cup size. Okay. So this is about 1 serving on the bowl, right? Of course, you know, I'm squeezing, I'm keeping it dense a little bit, but just stay around this area. There's a cranberry. It's a form of dried fruit. Why is it on the eat moderately section is because it's been dehydrated and then, you know, it has been reduced of its size and water content. However, I think that, you know, the nutrients are probably still intact in this fruit. It's just only the water content has been taken out, so, you know, the volume is lesser. So compared to this apple, right? This apple is in its original form. It's containing water. Imagine, you know, you dehydrate the apple, it will look something like this. Okay, so this, right, is something that you might overeat very easily. So this is about 40 grams of dried cranberries, and you know, compare this, right, to the apple. I think, you know, they can match, but the calories is different. This contains more calories compared to the apple. Okay, so therefore this, right, will be in the moderate section that you eat moderately. So if I were to transfer this into a cup size, you say that, so I'm gonna fill up my hand with this dried cranberry like this. This is about 40 grams, like this. Okay, about 40 grams. So it's about there. Okay. However, something this, right, might be very high in calories. So for dry fruit, what is recommended is about maybe half of the serving like this. Okay, this will be more ideal. Everyone have seen this before. So these are again pre-portioned food, and the industrial food that has gone through a lot of processing. Most of the nutrients have been taken out, and they are very highly palatable. They add a lot of seasoning, a lot of salt, high in fat, and they makes you want to eat more. Okay, so this is potato chip. Okay, for example, you put it in a bowl like this. and then you eat it from this bowl, okay? Because if you were to have this in front of you, probably you will finish this without you knowing it, okay? So do take them out of the packet and then eat them separately on another plate. Maybe use a smaller plate because they will encourage you to eat lesser, okay? And of course, right, the more trip you have to make, right, to actually get this food, the higher chance it will actually reduce the rate of eating. Another one is this kind of pre-packaged drink, because compared to the fruit like we have here, this has its fiber, right? It has all its fiber intact that we can actually slow down digestion rate, and it got all the nutrients in there. But for this packet drink, what happens is that, right, it has been taken out its fiber. This, right, it just goes right down into your stomach very quickly, and you might not feel satisfied. Then you will actually crave for more after you finish this packet of drink. Do take note that this will probably not fill it up and will make you crave for more. Okay, so eat it with a meal. In its 100 calories form. Okay, so let's start with the food that we need to eat more. Let's start with the very basic one. Let's start with the apple. For 100 calories, it's 1.5, okay, of a medium-sized apple. Just look at the volume over here, okay, because it has a lot of water and a lot of fiber. So this is one of the good food to have. The apples is 150 grams, okay, so this 150 grams, 1.5 of an apple. Next one will be the oats. Compared to just now, I had the oat all the way to the brim of this scoop. For 100 calories, this will be about 24 instead of 30 grams. So you can see that it is slightly, lesser than before. Usually we don't eat oats dry like this. Usually we cook it with water, so the volume will actually expand after cooking. It's 24. Of course, it depends on your preference, how much water you want to add into the oats. If you add the water into the oats and cook it right, the volume will definitely be more. For potatoes, this one is 130 grams. Okay, potato with the skin is boiled, so it's about 1 serving. This is 100 calories and it's 130 grams for this potato. Okay, the next one is sweet potato. Sweet potato is another good source of carbohydrate because again it has a lot of fiber and a lot of nutrients, and it tastes good, tastes sweet compared to the potatoes. So you can also mix and match, have a little bit of potato someday, have a little bit of sweet potato someday. This is 100 calories and it weighs 110 grams. Okay, the size is like this. 100 calories worth of rice, it is 80 grams. Okay, this is 80 grams worth of rice. Okay, and it's 100 calories. Compared to the previous one, like apple and oats, if you cook in water, and potato, this one seems to be a little bit, I'm not so sure, if I were to have this, I will not feel satisfied, I'll still be hungry, yeah? Okay, so this is 80 grams of white rice. The dry cranberry, of course, eat this moderately because it's dehydrated, it's taken out of its water content, so you might probably overconsume this very easily, okay? This one is 30 grams. 100 calorie worth of dry cranberries, 30 grams. Okay, right. So remember to eat this type of food, right, moderately. It's 100 calories worth of potato chip, and I don't see a potato here anymore. It's like from here it becomes this, right? They have to smash it, they have to add seasoning, they have to fry it and bake it, and then this is the product where you have this potato chip. And then compare this one, right? This is 10 pieces. 10 pieces is 100 calories compared to this. Just look at the volume over here, okay? And this one, right, I think after one probably you'll feel full already and you'll probably say no, but for this one, you can keep going, right? So this is one of the things about this type of food, right, is that eat it sparingly, okay? And you shouldn't be making the bulk of your diet. This fruit juice over here, it's 94 calories, it's just around 200. So per 200 ml, this is 100 calories, okay? Some people can just finish this at one go very easily. If you really like fruit juice, well, you can make it a little better. You can eat it together with a meal, okay? Or you know what, you can make it into a very nice smoothie. Instead of just drinking purely from the packet like this, you can actually mix it with maybe milk, okay, to slow down the process. Or you can mix it with fruits like bananas, protein powder. I usually use this as like a flavor enhancer, right? Especially for, let's say, you're on a bulking diet, you want to eat more, and because you can't have like oats, right, at every meal, of course it's like a good food, but you know, after some time you're gonna develop some taste fatigue, and then you don't want to eat oats anymore. So by making the food tasty, you can encourage your appetite to eat more. So the opposite is true, yeah. If you want to maintain your weight and lose weight, right, tend to eat food that are more wholesome and least processed. When you're bulking, because you need to increase your calories, do include some of this food. And sometimes I do dare to say that you do include some of this food as well, because it helps you to add calories to your overall diet, and it can be helpful for you to increase more calories, and then it will encourage you to eat more as well. Okay, so today, basically, we want to stick to food that are least processed and has more nutrients, like this. Okay, we want to add more food that are least processed and has more nutrients. So these are the food that I will encourage people to have more. Things like white rice. If you can change to brown rice, would be great. Cranberry. If you want to have dry fruit in your oats and your diet, it's fine. Just make sure that use the hand portions, but make sure that you make it into half, because just imagine the water content is taken out, so it's easier to overconsume them. And then for food like this, you want to probably eat less of them, or what you can do is that you can use a serving plate, right, to help you portion out so that you don't overeat the whole packet. And then maybe you can do better with this. You can mix it into a smoothie. You can add some maybe spinach, you can put some soy milk, you can put some whey protein, right, to make this even better, right? Okay, good. I hope today I've helped you to understand carbohydrate a little bit better, and some of the food that is better to consume more, and some of the food to actually maybe eat less. Thank you very much.